Welcome to Comics Bazaar, the channel of comics commentary and arcana. This video features Marvel Comics Presents number 83, and this came out in 1991. This is the penultimate chapter of Weapon X, another fantastic cover by Barry Windsor-Smith, featuring Logan with his claws popped. He's on fire, you've got clumps of hair and flesh burning off his body, and he's about to gut the professor there, who's reeling back in horror. And I love all the little details, including precisely those clumps of hair and flesh that are coming off of Logan's body, the spotting of blacks, the hatching and cross-hatching for the rendering of the muscle and the sinew of his form, as well as tiny little details like the shadow cast by the professor's spectacles across his cheekbones there as well. Really great work by Barry Windsor-Smith. Let's open this one up to the credits page, and you can see over here that this is chapter 11, but as I said, it's the second last installment of the series. Using Miss Hines as bait, the professor has set a trap for the rogue Logan in the fission exhaust pit. So that's a nice little summary of what happened in the previous installment. The credits are story and art by Barry Windsor-Smith, letterer Jim Novak and BWS. And what that means is that Barry Windsor-Smith is indicating the placement of the speech balloons and also sound effects as well in the art. So here, as I said, we pick up from the end of the previous issue, and the professor here has got his hand on this particular switch, and he says to Logan rather poetically, come creature, into the pit with you. I'll crisp you like bacon, like the mutant meat you are. And the professor has thrown Hines down into the fission exhaust pit, and she sees with horror that Logan is approaching her, and she tries to reason with him. Mr. Logan, she exclaims, I don't know if you can understand me, sir. And the professor is disgusted. You can see the wrinkles on his nose there, and the curled lip, upper lip as well, really well drawn by Barry Windsor-Smith. Good God, woman, don't beg. You're living the last few moments of your pointless existence. Don't waste them cowering and pleading to a mindless animal. And she says, I can't stand pain, physical pain. And of course, she's been involved in Experiment X, where horrendous physical pain was served up to Logan as part of his transformation into Weapon X. And so she begs Logan, please kill me quickly, please, I beg you. And you can see there's a little error, or maybe Barry Windsor-Smith wanted to cancel out that particular jagged speech balloon where she's breathing hard, and the professor interjects saying how grotesque, how undignified, but we'll see how things turn out for him by the end of this chapter. And then, shockingly for readers, Logan speaks and says, I understand you. So he has been like a mindless, controlled automaton for most of the Weapon X series, but finally he's beginning to assert his essential self again. His ego's coming up, and he says to Hines, you don't matter to me. And she's speechless. He turns and looks upwards at the control booth. I want, he says, but the professor pulls the switch that yields the exhaust into the pit here. So Hines sees what he's done. Oh, he did it. She screams there. He opened the fishing gate. Great shot, reverse shot of Logan there with all the musculature rendered so well on his back, as well as now on this particular page we've got 3 panels, all evenly sized, and we've got Hines running from the exhaust. Run, Mr. Logan, she exclaims. But he's already caught with the discharge, and you can see it raining down on him here. Discharge, 240,000 megatherms at 70,000 cubic feet. So we get readings throughout. Velocity, 2,000 foot per pounds. Current rate, 700 foot per pounds. Acknowledge, and the professor acknowledges. This is the professor. He says, Experiment X is destroyed. So he's been in communication in previous chapters with some mysterious overarching boss who's never been identified, but whom Barry Windsor-Smith intended to be, if Chris Claremont wanted it to be, Apocalypse, because Claremont revealed to Barry Windsor-Smith that he had a long time story plan to reveal the person behind Wolverine's adamantium lace skeleton and claws was indeed Apocalypse. That's a great shot there of Logan burning with the exhaust fumes. And the scene switches to the control room up above, and the professor is ranting. And I'm his destroyer, do you hear me? I beat you, you treacherous. But look, the computer is counting down the exhaust fume, and it's dropping. So 500, 400, it's dropping. The professor's continuing his rant as Logan's climbing up from the pit. I served your every demand, says the professor, you turned against. My God, he realizes, you are controlling the fishing gate, aren't you? And then this is a great little sequence, almost animated. You can see him turning towards us. Purge sequence cancelled. Is there nothing you cannot do? And then this is a fantastic panel within a panel where we see the shadow or the reflection, dark reflection of Logan's fist and those extruded claws. And Professor's sweating there as well. So here's Logan on fire, and he's about to burst in through the window of the control booth. And the professor says, you're still transmitting to him, controlling a corpse, a walking dead man. That's a great shot. One of Logan's eyes is completely in shadow, the implication being it's burned out of his eye socket. The other one is watching deadly the professor as Logan leaps through the window pane, shattering the glass there. Barry Windsor-Smith does a really great job on the shards of the glass, and he's striking towards the professor, gets him on the ground. The professor's in shock, and Logan asks him, even as his flesh is burning, am I dead? Is that what you done to me? So what will the professor say to that? So the professor says, no, Logan continues, dead, walking dead man, am I? And the professor here, and I love the little details of the fire that's dropped off Logan's flesh, and it's fallen onto the professor's spectacles and cheek there as well. You are, he says, an animal. I'm Logan, insists Wolverine at this point. And really, you can see there with that pink flesh how burned his skin is. So the professor starts screaming. Logan insists, Logan, I'm a man. And you, as he lifts up the professor, are the animal. He throws him onto the computer panels. So the professor's desperately punching away at those command keys, asking for help. But the security detail, they're all dead, all killed by Logan. So this truly is, the climax of a Mary Shelley Frankenstein style monster story, where the monster that the professor created has come to destroy him, to kill him. What a great image this is, as Logan uses his adamantium claws to cut off the professor's other hand. So now the professor has no hands, and Logan pulls back his claws. Snack there, the sound effect. Now we both got our paddles bollocksed, he says. So that is Hiberno British English. It means wrecked, ruined. Do you think that makes us even? So the professor there is breathing hard. And here we are coming up to our very last page. So really the action, the flow of the story is really speedy and swift in this particular installment, the penultimate installment. Lots of action here. Last page, Logan puts his fist right up to the professor's face. I like the way that Barry Windsor-Smith has rendered the flesh on the professor's face there as he's pulling back from Logan's fist. The spectacles are awry on his head as well, so we see his eye peeping out there, looking at that fist. And then Barry Windsor-Smith focuses on Logan, and the sound effects there, snick-kaduk, as he's putting a claw one at a time through the professor's head, right through his skull into his brain. So Logan says, well, it don't. Now we're square. Got that chump. So that is excellent. Really cathartic for readers who've seen Logan tortured, used and abused throughout this Weapon X storyline, for Logan to come back to himself and get some vengeance in this particular chapter. So what comes next? This is the penultimate chapter. Well, special triple size conclusion next issue. So issue 84 of Marvel Comics Presents includes a regular comics sized conclusion to this epic series by Barry Windsor-Smith. I do hope that you enjoyed this review and commentary on Weapon X, the penultimate chapter. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments section to the video. And if you enjoyed my review and commentary, please like the video on YouTube. Remember, there is a playlist of all the different chapters of Weapon X available on the channel as well. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more content like this.